We're going to talk about, a lot what goes on in the supplement industry. We call it the great scams of the supplement industry.
And Bill Phillips actually was very big at, he tested their products and was exposing that they weren't even putting the right amount of protein.
Were in there. Yeah, Strength Systems is one of the companies that no longer exists.
Yeah. They changed their name like 3 times.
Yeah. When I competed, egg protein was big.
Yeah.
Cybergenics had an egg white protein that I used to use. Yeah. And then it just kind of disappeared. I know why, because it's hard to source.
Because Starbucks and Hershey now puts whey protein into their products.
Yes.
So who has better buying power?
It was something that happened in the industry where people started cheating, and then they figured it out.
And there were big name brands.
Yes.
The brands that people would say, I trust.
Yes.
We're doing this because, and you know how you know, and it's easy to be able to tell. Look at the prices. Prices don't lie.
Hey, this is Rich Gaspari, and we're here with another episode of Beyond the Muscle. And I'm very excited to have a really good friend of mine and a guest, Dave Palumbo, former top-level bodybuilder, owner of Species Nutrition and RX Muscle. Very great to have you on the show.
Great seeing you, Rich, again. Yeah, we've been running into each other everywhere.
I know, it's been lately.
I'm back on the road, that's why.
Yeah, but it's cool because I've been seeing you at different shows, from, the E. Caputo show to the Mr. Olympia.
Right.
I got to go on RX Muscle to give a commentary on the prejudging of the Olympia.
There's a wrap-up, so you're really good at that.
So it was really exciting to have you. So this show is, you're a supplement owner just like I am, and you've been in the supplement industry, I think as long as I have. I've been in it for 27 years.
You're a little longer than me, but I'm about maybe 15 to 17 years.
Yeah, so you've been into the industry, and both of us, I went into the industry, I think, with the same intentions that you had, is you wanted to come up with great products for yourself.
Right.
That was one of the reasons I came.
Which is the worst business model.
And we're going to talk about that. But I did it because, I was so intrigued by, and when I got into it, it was it was just building up. Right. The whole supplement industry. I think there was like Weider.
It was the Wild West, too.
Yeah, it was Cybergenics, Weider.
Yeah.
I think it was, what was the other guy that was really
Bill Phillips.
Big? Bill Phillips. That was like really big. And then I came about into the industry. What got me excited is I saw Lee Labrada, former competitor.
He was very successful.
Yeah, he came up with his product line. I think I came up with mine about a year later.
And you guys were always very competitive.
Very competitive. Competitive on stage, competitive in the supplement industry. But he's one of my best friends now. We always talk, and he's a great guy. So, we're going to talk about, a lot what goes on in the supplement industry. We call it the great scams of the supplement industry. And we've been through a lot, seeing what's going on from, spiking proteins to using DMAE and ingredients that have been used in the industry.
Before we even both started, remember there was like Strength Systems that used to put fake names on the product, like they make it seem like it was clenbuterol or other things, and they would put like ingredients that didn't work. And Bill Phillips actually was very big at, he tested their products and was exposing that they weren't even putting the right amount of protein.
Were in there. Yeah, Strength Systems is one of the companies that no longer exists.
Yeah.
That
they changed their name like 3 times.
Or a lot of the supplement industry. What I heard is, what was the one product way back in the day?
Remember Hot Stuff?
Hot Stuff. They said they put Dianabol into that product.
Yeah, when they changed the formula, it didn't work as well.
Everyone does know it. So their first batch, and like you said, back in the day, it was the Wild Wild West. It wasn't controlled by the FDA like it is today. It's much more controlled. DSHEA is enforced.
Really, Amazon, I think, controls the industry now. You know why? Because if you want to sell on Amazon, they can at any time make you test your products. I'm sure you had to test products for that.
Right now.
And it's expensive.
Yes, it's around anywhere from $2,800 per product.
Yes. And they can do it anytime they want.
Yes. I've had a bunch of testing, so to make sure it is exactly what's on the label is in the bottle, which is a great thing to have.
No, it's good. Yeah.
And it does take out, the small players that want to get into it. When they start paying for all these testing.
Right. But there is ways around. I mean, we know that we could talk about the scams a little later, but how people, disguise things. They put creatine and amino acids into the products to bring the protein level.
So let's talk about that. Like when I got into this industry, it was funny, like Whey just came about. Mm-hmm. You understand, like I have an egg protein now. There's a reason why I have egg protein because when I competed, egg protein was big.
Yeah.
Cybergenics had an egg white protein, but I used to use.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of disappeared.
Right.
I know why, because it's hard to source.
Yeah.
It's a very unstable market. Stuff like bird flu hit it. So I'm dealing with it with that egg protein, but I've grown to 7 SKUs. But what came about was whey protein.
Right.
And I remember when it first came out, people, I don't know if you guys realize what happened with whey protein. They use, basically when they made cheese, they separate, right?
And the casein.
The whey, the casein, and throw out the whey.
Yeah.
They used to feed it to pigs.
You know that the true story, just a little diversion. Some guy had contacted me about he wanted me to train him, come out and train him. He lived in Juarez, Mexico, which is right over the border from El Paso. Yeah. So I said, I didn't know what this guy was, if he was for real. I said, well, you're going to have to wire me money. I said, I charge like $5,000 or whatever. Wired it to my account, flew into El Paso. They picked me up in like a bulletproof vehicle. So now I'm thinking, and they're going to drive me to Juarez. I'm thinking, oh my God, these guys must be like cartel, right?
Yeah.
So I get over there and I find out that they're actually the biggest dairy distributors in Mexico.
Oh wow!
And they were the grandfather grew the business from he was had no money, and we got into talking about they produced all the cheese and stuff for Mexico. I said, when you guys separate the cheese and the whey, what do you do with the whey? He said, we throw it in the garbage. I said, yeah, it's junk. I said, what do you? I said, it's a big market in the United States. He goes, it is. The guy didn't even know.
He didn't even know.
They were making so much money just from the cheese. For the cheese that they didn't even care about the whey. Yeah. Now the demand for whey is more than the demand for the casein part.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
If you look at fast forward to 2025, right now, whey protein is just out of control.
It's worse than gasoline.
And it's so expensive. You're dealing with it right now. You have an isolate.
Yeah.
And how much does a consumer now, and they blame us saying, why'd you raise the price?
Right.
No choice. But the material just keeps going up.
Because Starbucks and Hershey now puts whey protein into their products.
Yes.
So who has better buying power, you, me, or Hershey and Starbucks? And I think that's the problem.
Kind of what happened. But let's go through some of that. I don't know, a lot of people don't know because we have a history when it comes to the industry.
Yeah.
Whey protein came about, like you said, they thought it was junk. Then they realized, I think Weider started using whey protein, and back then, because I used their product, they had WPC 30. Yeah. Which is
nothing.
Crap.
Yeah.
It's loaded with lactose.
Right. I think designer protein was the first real higher quality.
WPC 80 maybe it was. Got to that point.
It was still a whey protein concentrate. Yeah. It was not. They didn't have isolates yet.
So I remember from the 90s with WPC 30 to then purifying it. When I'm saying WPC, I'm saying whey protein concentrate 30%. Or it's whey protein concentrate 80%.
The rest is lactose because which destroys people's stomach.
Which destroys stomach. And then you get to the isolates, which then we go into WPC 90, which is a higher percentage, more cleaner, but still has lactose in it.
Right. People don't realize that. People think all isolates are the same.
Yeah, and they're not.
I don't know what you were using, but I know that when I go to Glambia, who's the major producer of whey isolate, and I buy the highest isolate you can buy. Every year it gets a little better.
Yes.
And they tell me all the time, you're the only one who buys this one.
There's
no other company. I said, he said, because it's too expensive.
Yes.
And I said, listen, I don't care because my whole shtick is that I want to say I have the best.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a hit on sales because of that, because I have to charge more.
Exactly.
But, you have to find your niche. That was my niche. You have a different niche. And so, I use the best one because I am so lactose intolerant that if I can use the product, my own product, and not have any problems, number one, I'm happy. Yeah. Number two, I can guarantee to other people that are lactose intolerant that they can use the product too. So that's my selling point.
So we have different grades. And of course, you can have the highest grade isolate. Right. To a WPC 30, which I don't even think sells anymore.
No, but some of the companies, like the bigger companies that use the whey protein isolates that are the lower grade, people think it's the same thing, and then they go and buy it, and they're like, "Oh, my stomach."
And I've tried isolates that do wreck my stomach.
Yeah, you're in a foreign country, you're like, "Oh, let me just use this because I don't have anything with me," and you're like, "Oh my God!"
Because it's still, if it's WPC 90, it's got 10% lactose in it,
and if you're sensitive,
it's really going to hurt you. So whey protein came about, and they started getting into the market, and it went from being this product thrown away to becoming a commodity.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've been through where, I guess it was in the early 2005, 6, where whey protein spiked really, really high. So that people were trying to figure out, how can I, still keep my price low?
Right.
And then there was something called amino spiking.
Right.
And as you know, people were adding aminos, because what they do is when they measure protein, they measure just the
nitrogen, essentially.
Nitrogen. So the nitrogen, you could throw in glycine or taurine.
Or creatine.
Creatine's actually better because it's a higher nitrogen.
Yeah.
So
they're cheating basically.
And they're cheating. So people were getting this protein that had.
And there were big name brands.
Yes,
I don't need the brands that people would say I trust.
Yes.
We're doing this because, and you know how you know, and it's easy to be able to tell. Look at the prices. Yes. Prices don't lie.
Yes.
I know what I pay for the protein. When people are selling my product, whey protein, at the price that I'm paying for it, I'm like, there's a problem here. There's no way, because everyone pays the same thing essentially.
That's the thing, because it's a commodity. Unless sometimes they store protein in where a lot of times they have where they have
right, but we're talking about $1 or two different. When someone's selling something $10 cheaper than yours,
that happens. So the consumer is looking for the deal, cheaper price or the deal. Yeah. And the thing is, there is no deal.
Right.
Us guys that are selling protein, or all the supplement companies that sell protein, they make very little margin. You know,
it's the lowest margin item.
Yes. So when you're in this, and like with Dave and I are in this, it's like we're selling a protein. We know we're going to not make a lot of money on the product.
No, and even egg protein today, I price egg.
So
it's as expensive as whey.
It's more sensitive.
I don't think it's a better deal.
No,
so what you're doing is different, novel. And there's not a lot of people doing egg. Yeah. And some people can't take whey, so egg is a great alternative.
Well, that's the reason why, because, instead of playing the game and trying to make the best isolate, I said, let me just try sell egg.
No, and I think it was a good idea that you switched gears like that.
And now we have 7 flavors out in the market, and we do go to a store, they'll buy it because it's something different.
It's very different, right?
Yeah. It was something that happened in the industry where people started cheating, and then they figured it out.
But they're doing it again.
Well, they started again. Here's another thing that, companies do is, and I sell protein, and, you look at, if you have 25 grams of protein and a scoop is 32 grams,
which is around,
it's around pretty clean.
Yes.
But there's some brands that have, say, 25 grams of protein, but the scoop is like 46.
Yeah.
So what do they do to do that? They're putting in fillers.
Right. Well, they put flavorings, and they put like maltodextrin.
Maltodextrin, and so what happens is
it's erythritol. Everyone's
erythritol. Yeah. So that also upsets your stomach.
Yes. Oh, kills me.
But what happens is, guys are buying it. So if you're looking at your protein, look at the grams per scoop.
Right.
When you're looking at that, that's very important to look at.
100%.
Because people don't look at that, and they're looking at it. Oh, I just bought 5 pounds from Great Deal, but there's even less scoops than someone has 4 pounds.
I tell people, if you're going to complain about how high my protein is priced, figure out how much protein you're getting in the tub.
Exactly.
My 33 gram scoop gives you 28 grams of protein.
Wow.
Which no one does. So if you figure out how much protein's in the tub, you're actually getting more, and so you're actually not really paying more. And you know who taught me that? Bill Phillips said that years ago. I got to give the guy credit. He always said, remember he would try to, people say, oh, the Metrex, because when he was selling Metrex, so expensive. And he'd be like, well, what do you pay for a meal? My shake comes out to $3.15 per 40 grams of protein. If you went and bought a chicken breast and you had a baked potato, it's going to cost you $7. He said, so it's still cheaper than food. And so I think people have to realize that, bodybuilding is expensive, right? We eat 6 times a day. And whether it's shakes or meals, you got to figure out what your total cost for the day is.
It's still, even though you're paying a lot for that can of protein, you're actually still paying less than a meal.
Think about how much...
Right now, how much is beef?
What's 28 grams of protein, which is 1 scoop of my product going to cost that? That's like a 5-inch chicken breast, probably?
Yes, 5 ounces of chicken.
It's expensive. To get a clean chicken breast? If you get a
steak, it's going to be even higher.
And people now don't want to cook, so they're buying these meal prep things. They're paying $10 a meal, $8
$10, $12. Yeah. I pay $12.
No, so it's not cheap. So, and the carbs don't cost anything. It's the protein that costs.
Well, that's what people don't understand. It's just the whole thing about how, you're paying for protein and you're saying it's a high price. But when you're looking at this can that's got 28 servings, that's 28 meals.
Right.
And 28 meals, if you take that and you multiply times 10,
you're getting a bargain.
You're getting $280.
Right.
So people are looking at it that way.
When I first started, just like you did, we had no money. So we had to economize what we were doing. So you bought rice and potatoes and chicken and tuna in the can back then, and you bought whey protein. That's it. And you lived on that because that was the cheapest thing. And we'd go to McDonald's for hamburgers, because that was cheap. But to get a 99-cent double cheeseburger. Nowadays, people want, gourmet meal, and that's fine. But, it's expensive if you...
It gets more expensive.